Colby Covington faces Robbie Lawler at UFC Newark on August 3rd in the Prudential Center in New Jersey. He joins me now. Colby, great to speak to you as always. How are you, my friend? How's it going?
I'm doing great, man. Living the American dream. Can't ever complain.
Definitely. I like the hat as always. Sporting it. You had a few issues. You had a few issues in your house this morning. We were supposed to do it in your. You're supposed to speak to me on Skype in your house, but there's a bit of drilling going on.
Yeah, it's a little bit of drilling. Too bad. I wanted to make this interview great again, but unfortunately, we're not going to be able to have Donald Trump's signed letter from him personally and his signed picture in the background. So sorry, I got to do it in the car today.
Oh, we'll get it again before the fight, Colby. Anyway, definitely. Listen, mate, I want to ask you obviously how this fight came about. You've been on the sidelines since beating Rafael dos Anjos last June. Robbie Lawler, obviously a former training partner of yours. How did this come about? And what was your thought process? Because I know you've a lot of respect for Robbie Lawler.
Yeah, it came about because Marty Fake Newsman's out there doing what he does best. He's the CNN of the UFC. He fakes injuries, he fakes excuses, he's got a fake smile, and he's a fake fighter. So, the thing about me is fighters fight. So I got to go out there and defend my title against the next worthy contender. And if we're being honest, now, over in your country, let's be honest, if you walk on the sidewalks right now and ask who's a bigger name, Kamaru Usman or Robbie Lawler, who are they going to say? 10 out of 10 people.
Robbie Lawler.
Exactly. So that's why I'm excited to defend my belt against ruthless Robbie Lawler. He's an exciting fighter. He, one of the greatest champions of all time besides myself. And, we're going to put on a great show August 3rd in the Prudential Center.
How tough was it to take that fight? What's your relationship like with Robbie Lawler?
It was tough. Robbie's a good friend of mine. I like the guy a lot. I've always had a lot of respect for him. He's always had a lot of respect for me. And we go way back, multiple years back at ATT from training, doing sponsor things together. So, I like the guy, man. It's going to be hard to punch a guy in the face, but at the end of the day, it's business, man. And we both see the side of that, and we both want to get paid. So that's what this is all about, going and getting paid.
You've mentioned that as well, and your good pal Jorge. I spoke to him over in London when he defeated Darren Till. That's something that you said you entertain down the line. Does he see that as business, possibly, if that does happen down the line? Because I know you're best buds with him.
Yeah, absolutely. Jorge Masvidal is my absolute best friend in the whole entire world. I love that guy. I mean, more than I love myself, and that's hard to do because I do love myself. I'm the great American winning machine. So, but, Jorge, we see it as a huge business opportunity to change our lives for the rest of our lives. So we never have to have jobs again. Me and Jorge, if that fight ends up coming together, that's a 7-figure fight for both of us. That the type of heat that fight will have, the ex-training partners, the best friends angle. I mean, it has everything, and that's a fight that will excite the fans. So, if we have to fight, we'll put our friendship aside for a night and we'll do business and then we'll go back to being best friends the next day.
I got to ask you, Kamaru Usman said yesterday in an interview with TMZ, he said that you fucked it up again in terms of getting that title shot. And he also said, the bigger machine has made a different fight for him. What's your thought process and what are your thoughts on what he said yesterday to TMZ?
Well, let's be honest. I didn't fuck up any title shots because I actually have the real title right now. So, I've already had my title shot and won a title way before he did. So, just because he has a corrupt manager and there's some corrupt dealings going on behind the scenes, I can't do anything about that. I'm the people's champ for a reason. I fight for the people, and that's why I'm going to go out there and fight ruthless Robbie Lawler come August 3rd. I'm going to put on a show for the fans and the people, put asses in the seats. But, I don't really have anything to say to that, man. I could care less if I ever fight Marty Fake Newsman. He's a thing of the past to me. He's Woodley 2.0. He's doing the same shit Woodley did. Oh, fake injuries. Look for the easier contender. Oh, this and that. So, I don't need Marty Fake Newsman to be relevant. He needs me to be relevant. If you notice, in the last 2 years, all Marty Fake Newsman and Kamaru Usman have done is put up my name in videos, everything. Oh, I'll fight Colby. Oh, I black out in a room. I'll give up my title shot to fight Colby. Oh, we're 20 miles apart. We can do this in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, blah, blah, blah. So, the thing about Marty Fake Newsman is, he's full of shit, man. You can't believe anything that guy says. Before he would do anything to fight me. And now he's got a #1 contender Power Ranger belt, and he's running scared for me, and he can't say my name. So I think the fans see the truth with him, and the fans see the truth with me. I'm real, and I'm here to fight, and that's what fighters do. They fight.
What do you make of Dana's recent comments? He sort of, I presume he was talking about you when he was speaking to ESPN. He basically responded to Brett Okamoto's comments and said in so many words that you have to be ready. You've turned down basically multiple fights for a world title. Do you think there's bigger things at play maybe here than Dana White making the fights in the UFC at the moment?
Yeah, this is definitely above Dana's head. The thing about Dana's that ultimate say in the UFC anymore. He sold all his shares. Dana's the face of the UFC, so he doesn't make those decisions. This is someone else behind the scenes. This is a battle with WME, IMG, and Colby Chaos Covington. And the thing is if they want to do business, let's do business, man. I'm an independent contractor, man. I sell tickets. I put asses in seats. I sell this, so. I don't really care what Dana says. I always do what I want. No one tells me what to do, and that's why I'm going to fight ruthless Robbie Lawler in my first title defense, because he's the biggest name in the division, the biggest draw, and he's a worthy contender. He's coming off a vicious first-round knockout over Ben Askren. He actually dropped Ben Askren on his head and took his Hodge trophy in that fight, so he's never looked better in his last fight. And I'm excited for him to get his first title defense against me.
How is your relationship with Dana White? Because I feel maybe some of the things he said, what you've told me last year, it's a little bit fractured. Is that a fair enough comment to make?
No, me and Dana White are best buddies again, man. We're on good terms again. He understands what I'm doing. He understands, I'm trying to make this business bigger. Everything I do is for this business. I mean, look at what I just did 3 weeks ago. I went and hung out with the Truth for a full week in Times Square, Manhattan, New York. I volunteered my time, paid money out of my pocket, brought the UFC title over there, brought the ESPN over there to be with the Marines, be with the Navy, got to stay on the USS New York ship, which is a Navy ship in the U.S. Navy, and they're actually probably outside Iran right now, but that's another story. But, all this stuff I do, I'm a self-promoter. UFC's never promoted me. I'm self-made. UFC didn't make me. I made myself. So, they see my worth. They see I market myself. I don't need them to market me. So, I don't really need a good relationship with those guys to do business, because this is the business not about making friends. This is the business about making money.
You're after the title. Obviously, you say you hold the title. You never lost that interim title, but you want to unify the belts. Do you feel as though maybe that you should have been next in line, or was it about just making business sense at the moment now and taking a fight and putting that on the line?
Yeah, I've been begging to unify my title. We got offered Woodley last November in Madison Square Garden. He turned it down. We got offered him Woodley again in December. He turned it down. We got offered him again in January in the Anaheim show. They had to cancel. He turned it down. And then all of a sudden they just passed me up and they gave Marty Fake Newsman a shot in March versus Woodley. And then they fight. Marty Fake Newsman wins. He wants to act like a thug in a buffet line, the Palms buffet line, but he won't fight me in an octagon. He'll only do it when TMZ is going to pick up the coverage and make him look like he's a good guy, because he's attacking the supervillain Colby Chaos Covington in the Palms buffet line. So, and then we get offered Usman in June in Chicago. He turns it down. We get him offered July. He turns it down. We get him offered in August. He turns it down. We get it offered in September in Abu Dhabi. He turns it down. We get offered in November, Madison Square Garden. He turns it down. So, I can't fight someone that doesn't want to fight me. We're independent contractors. If he doesn't want to fight me and sign the contract, there's nothing I can do about it. Business must go on. The show must go on. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to put on a show, and I'm here to entertain the fans. So I'm going to entertain the fans with the biggest name in the division, ruthless Robbie Lawler.
Is there a fear on your part that you're becoming like the Tony Ferguson of the welterweight division, that, you just can't seem to get a title shot with, a string full of wins? I think Tony's on 12 now, UFC lightweight record. Do you feel as though you're sort of reaching that point where it's becoming sort of impossible for you to unify those drops?
No, not at all. I've already had my title shot. I have a title, like I told you before now. I didn't bring it up for this interview because I left it at home. because there's some drilling going on next door. But I already have a title. I have nothing to prove. I already know I'm the best welterweight on earth. I proved it multiple times. I'm undefeated. I'm undisputed. No one can stop me right now. So, I don't need a title shot to be relevant and be the biggest name in the game. This is a prize fighter business, Niall. So I want to fight the biggest names and for the most amount of money possible. So I don't care if I'm in a title fight. I'm going to be making more money than Kamaru Usman anyways.
Have we got a very pissed off Colby Covington because he hasn't fought since June of last year? It's obviously been a frustrating time there. You said, the fights falling out, or, Kamaru Usman not accepting fights against you. Is there frustrations?
I don't know. I wouldn't take it. It's more frustration with the UFC, that they let this circus go on, like first they let Woodley duck me. He would only fight GSP or Nate Diaz, but he wouldn't fight me. And then they're letting, Marty Fake Newsman do the same shit. He's the Woodley 2.0. So, I'm not frustrated with my opponents because I know that they have no chance to beat me. So they don't want to lose everything they work for. They know when they lose to me, they become irrelevant and they have to live that down the rest of their lives. So, I'm just frustrated with the UFC that they let this circus go. Like you guys want to be a professional sport, and UFC prides themselves on wanting to be the NFL and they want to be the NBA, but there's no real ranking system. There's no real system to how anything goes down. You could be the number one fighter in the world, but you're still not in an undisputed title fight. How does that work? It's so, the UFC is just really delegitimizing their brand. So, they're just making themselves look dumb. And I'm glad that the fans are starting to see it. The fans are starting to come on my side and they understand what I have to go through and just all the politics, man. At the end of the day, there's just so many politics and at the end of the day, I'm here to do business. So if they don't want to let me do business, then let me go.
I've definitely noticed that about the fans. You're definitely getting a little bit more love, I think, in relation to possibly the way the UFC have treated you. Is that fair to say? Do you feel that?
Yeah. It's very fair to say. The fans see it, man. They see the truth. They see the realness behind me, that I've been ready and willing to fight at every moment. There was only one time that I've ever turned down a fight my whole entire career, and it was when they offered me Woodley last September in Dallas. They offered me on 4 weeks' notice. I just came off a 5-round title fight, beating up Ralphie Dos Nachos, and I had to get sinus surgery. I already had sinus surgery scheduled, so I had a serious sinus surgery, man. I had deviated septum and chronic sinusitis, and I couldn't breathe. Literally had mucus draining from my nose down onto my lungs, so I couldn't even breathe. And they want me to turn around and fight another 5-round title fight. So, I know they try and hold that against me, but that's not my fault, man. That's not my fault. You guys are piss poor at planning your schedule. You can't blame me. I'm one fighter. You got 500 fighters on your roster. Sorry, I know I'm the biggest name in the game, but I can't entertain and occupy every single show.
I remember we spoke to you. I think just before you got the surgery, and you're in a bad way with your sinuses that time. You talked about, I just want to ask you a couple of more things, Colby. Always appreciate the time, man. Ali Abdelaziz, I want to ask you about that in terms of, Ariel asked this question to him a few months ago as well, that maybe he's a little bit too much control on what goes on in the UFC. What are your thoughts on those comments from Ariel? Would you go along with that, seeing what's gone on with yourself and Kamaru Usman?
Well, first off, you got his name wrong. His name's Ali Abdelaziz. But, yeah, he's a dirtbag, man. His resume speaks for itself. He's a rat informant, man. He ratted out all his friends from Egypt and got them sentences, and he's a little FBI informant. So, the thing about attracting rats is all you got to do is go get crab legs, and apparently crab legs draw rats to the Palms Buffet line. So, the guy's a dirtbag, man. He's got PFL. He's in ESPN's pockets. He's in deep in bed with the UFC. So, it's sad, man. It's sad, but the thing is that I could care less about him or fighting any of his fighters because, I have nothing to prove to those guys. So,
But is he having?
That's life.
But is he having too much control on what matches are being put together in the UFC?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. He I hate to say that he has a little bit of power, but he has a little bit of power. He's definitely been in control of some matchmaking, and I don't know if that's because he has multiple guys, that He's got Khabib. I think it's because he's got Khabib, to be honest. The leverage he has with Khabib since he beat UFC's poster boy, Conor McGregor. I think ever since that, I know he used Khabib to leverage Usman to get the title fight with Woodley, and that's why he pretty much pushed him ahead of me, just because he said, hey, you want Khabib to come back and fight and defend his title, then you give Usman the title shot versus Woodley over Colby. So, he has too much power, but it is what it is. Ali Abdelaziz is going to be Ali Abdelaziz, just a complete dirtbag.
So Jorge Masvidal, I want to ask you that one, obviously against your other pal Ben Askren. Your thoughts on that fight? Obviously, you're going to go along and pick your pal Jorge Masvidal to win that one.
Yeah, definitely. I got to go with my pal Jorge Masvidal. He looked great this training camp. I mean, he looked unbelievable versus Darren Till. He's just too fast, too explosive, and I just think he'll catch Askren with a big knee or a big uppercut. But he's got nasty knees, man. He has really nice switch knees, and I think when Askren goes to shoot a takedown, because the thing about Askren, he doesn't know how to mix it up. He has no punches. He has pillow hands. It's Ben Askren, first off, so you got to start getting his name right. It's Ben Askren. But he can't fight, dude. He has pillow hands. He couldn't hurt a fly, and I think Jorge Masvidal is going to knock him out.
Is this like a semi-final at the moment? What way do you feel this plays out in the next number of months? Kamaru Usman said he wants to come back at MSG. Is it the winner of you and Robbie Lawler, or is it the winner of Jorge Masvidal against Ben Askren that gets that shot? Or, does the winner of those two fights face each other? How does this play out? How do you see this playing out?
Oh, come on. Let's be honest.
No, I agree. I agree. I think you should have had the shot. Don't get me wrong. But, the UFC these days, in terms of matchmaking, it's a little bit all over the shop.
Yeah, no, I agree for sure. If we look at Ben Askren's resume, he still doesn't have a UFC win. He got beat up by Robbie Lawler last fight. And if we look at my best friend Jorge Masvidal, he's 1-2 in his last 3 fights. So even if he beats Ben Askren, he's 2-2 in his last 4 fights. If that deserves a title shot, then I don't know what to say. I guess that can speak for ourselves, and the UFC can keep killing their brand. But my resume speaks for itself. I have a title. I want to unify that title, but I don't really care, man. I'm not chasing Marty Fake Newsman, man. I'm just chasing money, and I'm chasing big fights. So, whoever the UFC wants to put in front of me, I'll dunk my nuts on their head, and I'll get another win.
Colby Covington, I always appreciate the time. Good talking to my man. I'm looking forward to seeing you get back in there on August 3rd against ruthless Robbie Lawler. Always a pleasure, my friend.
All right, brother. Have a great day.